today I've got a bunch of apples. To me, apples are the most boring fruit in the world unless dressed up with a bit of sugar, cinnamon, and a crusty, buttery pastry. Let's do an apple strudel. B-roll, baby. Let us start with the dough right now. Here I am, I'm taking out my KitchenAid. This equipment has lasted me for 7 years. The best. 250 grams of flour, you put it into your mixer. Okay, so over here I'm putting 2 tablespoons of oil. Over here I'm using avocado oil. But you don't have to use avocado oil, you just use any neutral tasting oil like canola oil, sunflower oil, so that it doesn't influence the taste of your strudel. 90 milliliters of water. And over here I put half a teaspoon of lemon juice, 1 egg, a sprinkle of salt. So I'm gonna let my mixer now do the job. I don't like to knead dough myself, it takes too much energy. So you let the machine do its job for around 10 minutes. Okay, I think now we have done, 10 minutes has passed. I'm gonna remove the dough from the KitchenAid machine. But of course we need to transfer the dough to another place. I am going to oil this vessel over here, so that the dough doesn't stick. Actually, it's quite a sticky dough. It's a little bit wet. Yeah, now playing with the soft dough. I'm rolling. Okay, I'm trying to smoothen the dough, and before I put it into the vessel I have just oiled. You like something like that? Throw it in. Make sure it doesn't dry out, so I'll cover this with cling wrap. So we leave the dough to rest for another 30 minutes before you can use it. That is to relax the gluten so that it'll be easy to pull the dough later. Now I'm measuring 50 grams of breadcrumbs. I'm going to roast this breadcrumbs with butter over the stove. So let's go to the stove. Okay, so here I have some butter. I'll put in about 50 grams of butter into the pan. Melt it. Okay, now I'm going to roast 50 grams of breadcrumbs with the butter. Some roasting. Right now it's time for me to peel and core the apples and of course slice it. There's just no reason why I use red or green apples. It's just whatever that was left in my fridge, and I needed to use up the apples before they spoil on me. Now that I've cut all the apples, it's time to mix it up with the sugar, the cinnamon, the lemon juice. Okay, so here I have half a lemon juice and I'm going to pour it in. I'm going to put in half a teaspoon of cinnamon. And then I'm going to put in some sugar, which is about 120 grams. Of course, you know me, just apples would not be enough. So I like to add in some raisins, some walnuts, and some pine nuts. What I have here is 50 grams of raisins that I've soaked overnight. So I'm just going to drain the rum. Ooh la la, look at all that rum. Raisin rum. Okay. So I put in my raisins and about 25 grams of pine nuts. And about 80 grams of chopped walnuts. Okay, and then now we're gonna just mix up everything. Oh, that's a lot of apples. You know, cinnamon and apples, they just taste so good together. The dough has already been resting for 30 minutes, so it's time to use it right now. Let's just roll it out, flour your surface, and flour the top of your pastry dough as well. Start rolling. Okay, roll it out into a nice rectangle about 30 cm by 20 cm. I've taken this cloth and I'm going to place it on the table because I'm going to use it as a guide. Flour the surface. Hello darling, you're very noisy. I picked up the dough and I'm stretching it. I'm going to stretch it so that it's paper thin. I don't think it'll be as good as the Viennese grandmothers, but I shall try. Let's see how it's gonna be. So as you can see, the dough is so thin that I can see the text underneath. There's a bit of holes, but it doesn't matter because when you roll it out, no one is gonna see it. Well, that was an almost impossible task, but I think I did a pretty good job, judging from how little experience I have pulling dough. Okay, I've got some butter over here. I'm going to spread it over the paper thin dough. Okay, then I'm going to pour breadcrumbs onto the dough, distribute it evenly. Okay, finally we are going to pour the apples on the dough and we're going to wrap it up. oil the silicone baking sheet. A little bit more with butter. I just put a little bit of butter. This is just to prevent the layers from sticking to one another. Time to put it in the oven. The oven has been preheated to 200 degrees Celsius. So now we wait about half an hour before we see the final result. Can't wait! My kitchen smells like a German cafe. It's just so exciting. All the smells. Looks like the apple strudel is ready. Let me take it out of the oven. Okay, I'm going to transfer this onto my chopping board. Wow, it's so crusty. And the most exciting part is to cut into it. Oh my god. Is that a crunch? Can you hear the crunch? That is so satisfying. Okay, now I'll just top it up with icing sugar to just decorate the way it looks. Most people like to eat the apple strudel with some vanilla custard, so I prepared some. Can't wait to dig into it. It's awesome. Actually, I've tried this for 4 times and none of it was successful. This is my only successful time. And so I'm proud of myself. Thanks for tuning in and staying with me throughout the entire video. I hope to see you in the next episode. Bye!